everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my quick and simple recipe for stewed lentils. Now, instead of using lentils, if you don't have them, you could go ahead and use any type of dried beans or peas, and you can also use any type of canned beans or peas. Just use whatever you've got in your pantry at home. I think this is the perfect recipe because a lot of us have been stocking up on a lot of dried peas and beans and things that are very shelf stable. So go ahead and give this recipe a try. You will not be disappointed. Now this recipe is pretty cool because I'm going to be doing a collaboration with Sean over at What's in the Pot, and he's another fellow Trini home cook, and he posts a lot of Trini recipes, of course, and they look amazing. Now his channel is growing as well, so I want you guys to go ahead and head over to his channel once you're done watching my version for stewed lentils to see how he puts it together. I can't wait to see his version, and when you head on over there, make sure you give his videos some thumbs up, subscribe to his channel, of course, so you can build up his following even more, and go ahead and leave some comments and tell him that Matthew sent you. So Sean, I cannot wait to see how you put together your stewed lentils. Everyone else, let's get into my kitchen and put this together. So making these stewed lentils is actually very simple. The most work that you're going to have to do is actually prepping all of the fresh ingredients and the seasonings. Now I wanted to mention, if you don't have all of these different fresh ingredients, you can go ahead and swap them out for any type of dry seasoning you have or any other types of fresh seasonings that you may have. Use whatever you have on hand and make this dish as per your own taste and your own preferences. So what I'm doing here is I'm chopping up one small white onion. Again, if you have any other colors of onions, feel free to use that. And I'm also going to chop up some garlic. You could even go ahead and puree the garlic or grate it in, whatever's easier for you. And then after you cut up your garlic, you're going to chop up some hot pepper. I love to use the wiri peppers because that's what I have on hand. But if you wanted to use some Scotch bonnet peppers or habanero peppers, feel free to do that. And if you can't find any of these like Caribbean type peppers, of course you can use things like jalapenos. You could go in there with some red chili flakes, whatever you got on hand. And then after I chop up that pepper, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping up some carrots. Now I like adding the carrots into my stewed lentils just because I find that it gives a really nice sweetness. And of course it adds a little bit of added texture and it bulks up the lentils a little bit. So I'm going to finish chopping those things and then I'll show you guys what to do next. Now I saw that I had some celery laying at the bottom of the fridge, so I went ahead and I washed some of it and now I'm chopping that up to add in. The celery is going to add a nice little savory and umami taste to the dish. And I wanted to tell you guys about a little underappreciated part of the celery, the leaves. Now a lot of people don't like to cook with the leaves, but honestly, they're just like cooking with any other herb. They give such a great flavor into the dishes that you cook it in. So I recommend taking some of the leaves and using them in there as well. So I'm going to chop that up and then we can start cooking. Alright guys, let's take a moment to appreciate all of that prep work. I have all of my fresh veggies and seasonings here all ready to go. If you had any other types of herbs, any other veggies that you wanted to add in, feel free to chop them up as well. I have my onions, my garlic, hot pepper, some celery, and carrots. If you wanted to go in there with some bell peppers or literally any other type of veggie to stretch the lentils or bulk them up even more, feel free to do so. So in a heavy bottom pot, we're going to start off by adding some olive oil into it. Now if you wanted to, you could also use any other type of oil, and you can even go in with some butter. The butter gives it a really nice rich taste, but I'm just using olive oil today. And what you're going to do is go in with your chopped garlic, your chopped hot pepper, as well as your chopped onions. Basically, we're going to stir this up for about a minute or two, just until they cook down a little bit and you get that raw taste cooked out of the onions. So after about a minute of cooking those onions, the hot pepper, as well as the garlic, I went in and I stirred in my carrots as well as my chopped celery. Now you basically want to stir these around until they fry up and soften a little bit in that hot oil. And you also want to go in with a little bit of dried Guyanese thyme. Now if you don't have Guyanese thyme, you can use the regular fresh American thyme. You can use the dried American thyme, or you can even use the thick leaf thyme if you have it on hand. And of course, if you didn't have thyme on hand, you could play around with so many different herbs. Trust me, this dish is very versatile and you can play with it as per your own taste. And I'm also going to go in with one bay leaf just to add that in for some extra flavor. Now after about 2 minutes of frying up those carrots and the celery and all of the other seasonings, you're going to see that you form some brown bits at the bottom, and that's exactly what you want because all of those brown bits are great flavor that's going to be picked up when you add in your liquids and after you add in the lentils. So now you see I went in with my lentils. I'm using the regular green or dark lentils that you find at your grocery store, but you can use any variation of lentils that you want, or you can use any other type of dried beans or peas. Now, after you add in the lentils, you're going to go in with some salt to taste. And remember, you can add salt now and always add later. You can't really take out salt, so just be mindful of that. And then I'm also going to go in with some black pepper. This is also where you can add in any extra dried seasonings if you have them or if you want to add them in. And I also wanted to mention that my lentils, they were not soaked at all. I literally just washed them and I plopped them into the pot. But if you wanted to, you could soak them. It would take less time to cook. But honestly, lentils don't really take that much time to cook anyway, so I didn't really feel the need to soak them beforehand. After adding in those lentils with the salt and the black pepper, I like to go ahead and saute them in the pot with everything else just for about a minute or two, so this way everything marries together and infuses. And then at that point, that's when I like to go in with my water. Now, if you want exact measurements for how much of everything that I'm putting into the pot, go ahead and check out the description box down below. I'll have all of the ingredients and the proper measurements. You just gotta click on the box, it'll drop down and you'll see everything there. So make sure you check that out if you wanna make this dish. And once you add in that water, you're gonna stir it around really well, pick up any of those brown bits from the bottom, and then you're gonna cover it and you're gonna allow it to cook until those lentils are soft. This can take anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. Maybe it'll take less time, maybe it'll take more time. And I want you to keep going in there every couple of minutes to stir it up. And if you see that it's drying up too fast and it needs a longer time to cook, feel free to add in some more liquids. This is what my lentils look like after about 15 minutes of simmering on a medium-low heat. So at this point, I'm going in with some coconut oil. Now, if you don't have coconut oil, you can use coconut milk. And if you don't have coconut milk, you can omit that and you can also omit the coconut oil. I'm just adding it in because it adds a nice little richness and an added flavor to the lentils. But if you wanted to, you don't have to add it in. It's totally optional. So I'm going to cover it again. I'm going to allow it to cook on that medium-low heat. And I'm just going to cook them until those lentils are nice and soft. Alright everyone, so my lentils took about 30 minutes to cook from start to finish. Now again, remember, just depending on the type of lentils you're using, the brand of lentils you're using, whether you soak them or not, it will take more or less time, so just be mindful of that. You just want to go in every few minutes to see if the lentils are soft or not. And mine are perfectly done. As you guys can see, the gravy around the lentils or that sauce is nice and thick. That's the way I like it. If you want it a little more runny, of course you can make it more runny, but I like it sort of thick so this way it sticks to the rice, or I can pick it up with roti if I'm eating with it. But honestly, it's done, it's ready to go, and this is something that I know you all will enjoy. Around this quarantine time, I've been cooking a lot of comforting things, a lot of warming things, and this is something that is truly, truly enjoyed by my family. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish it off with some fresh herbs. I have some parsley on hand today, so that's what I'm adding in. But if you have any other type of herbs or even some scallions, you can add that in as well. Give it one final stir, give it a taste for salt or hot pepper or any other seasonings, and you're good to go. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video for stewed lentils. Now, these stewed lentils are amazing. It is such a simple recipe, but it's something that's so filling and so comforting and hearty, and it fills you up. So if you wanted to, you could go ahead and serve this with some white rice. You could serve it with some roti even. It goes with anything, or you could just eat it by itself. It's the perfect vegan meal, and I promise you guys are gonna enjoy. So I hope you guys head on over to Sean's channel now, What's in the Pot. I'll have his information right here on this screen, and I'll have it in my description box below as well as on my social media pages. And just go ahead, check out his channel, show his channel some love, tell him that Matthew sent you. And yeah, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, do all those wonderful things, and leave all of your comments down below. I hope you all are staying safe. I hope you all are well, and just know I'm thinking about each and every one of you. I'll see you guys again in one of my next videos.